Hey guys, it's Abby. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Abby. I post book videos every week. On Tuesdays I post my reading vlogs, and on Thursdays I post other book-ish content. So today what I'm going to be doing is a recent read video, and so basically what that is I'm just going to talk to you about the books that I've read recently and how I enjoyed them and what I rated them. I wanted to start off the video explaining why I have not posted in the last 2 days that I was supposed to post. Last week was a very unmotivating week for me, and it just didn't turn out as well as I hoped. I did film this video, recent reads video, last week, and I didn't end up liking it. It was just really quick and I talked really fast, and it wasn't something that I wanted to put out there because I wasn't proud of it, and it wasn't something I wanted y'all to watch. And because the week was very unmotivated, I didn't actually end up filming a lot, so therefore I did not have a lot of content to post a reading log for. So that is why I didn't post on Tuesday or the last Thursday. But I'm getting back into the swing of things. I will be posting from now on. So let's get into the video. So the first book I read was The Shark Club by Anna Kidd Taylor. So I read this book while I was in Florida. I spent an extra week there after my spring break, and my sister had bought me this book, and we follow our main character Maeve, who is a marine biologist. She became obsessed with sharks when she was 12, and that was because she got bit by a shark, and so it started her obsession with sharks. And so she is a traveling marine biologist, and so she was working abroad, and she's coming home for a couple months to find out 3 very crazy things are going on in her life. So the first one is that there is a big finning operation, a illegal finning operation going on in her hometown, which basically means that people are finning sharks, which means they end up drowning and dying because they can't swim without their friends. So that's something that she's struggling with, is because she's trying to figure out who's doing this, because sharks are such a huge part of her life. The second thing is that her brother is turning her high school experience of relationship into a book and didn't tell her about it. And her high school sweetheart, which the book is about her and this guy, ends up moving back home to her hometown, and so she's dealing with all of that, and it's just like so good. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I wasn't a huge fan of the ending because it didn't hit where I thought it was supposed to be going, but overall it was a really good book. Next, I read very shortly 2 middle grade books. I read Soul Surfer and Because of Winn, Dixie. Both of them I gave 5 out of 5 star reads. They were such cute, wholesome reads for like middle grade and things like that. This is such an inspiring story. I really liked the story before I even read the book, and I really quite enjoying it, seeing from actually Bethany's perspective and the way that she viewed it back then. Because of Winn, Dixie was just super wholesome, and I really liked it, and it was really cute, and I thought it was a really enjoyable book. So if you ever want to go back and reread some middle grade books, these were 2 that I would recommend you picking up. The book I read, I gave 5 out of 5 stars, which was Amy and Roderick's Epic Detours by Matson. So this book was really quite enjoyable. I finished it in I think 2 days. I could not put this book down. It was super good. The reason why I think I really liked it is because it followed the trope of friends to lovers, which is one of my favorite tropes, and also dealt with going on a road trip, and I personally love going on road trips, so there's something I really liked about it. So we're following our main character Amy, who doesn't drive since her dad got in a car accident and died, and so she is moving to Connecticut from California, and then her job is to get the car from California to Connecticut, but she doesn't drive, so her mom enlists the help of an old family friend, Roger, to help her drive the car across the country. And so they have a planned route that her mom made for them, but they both decide it's kind of boring and they want to make their own adventure, and they stop at a couple of different places along the way, and it's just such a cute read. I definitely recommend this one. So the next book I also gave 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know if I just hit the jackpot with 5 out of 5 star reads, but these 2 were just really good for me. So the next book I read was Just Friends by Billy Taylor. So in this book we are following August and Ethan, who have been friends since Ethan's 7th birthday party, and after they both get in a car accident and both end up famous in some strange ways, August decides she just doesn't want to be just friends with him, and so it just tells you the story, and it's over the course of like several years of them being friends and they're best friends, and it follows one of my favorite tropes, which is best friends to lovers. That's that's higher up than the Friends to Lovers, but I just love Best Friends to Lovers. It's super cute and it's really good, and I don't want to give any more away because I don't want to spoil it. It's super good. I wouldn't recommend this to just anyone. I would definitely recommend this to any teen girl who's okay with the cheesy cliche things that aren't realistically going to happen, but to a teen girl they would be something you would love. The next book that I read Love, Life, and a List by Kasie West. So this book I also read very quickly. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So in this book we are following Abby, I know, kind of ironic, and her best friend Cooper, and they are spending the summer alone together. There are 4 of them in their friend group, and the other 2 are going on summer trips and aren't going to be there, so it's just going to be her and Cooper. And Abby has a not-so-secret unrequited crush, and that's the way they describe it on the back, and I think it's really cute and funny. But basically what's happened is she wants to put her art into an art show, and she got rejected because her art didn't have enough heart or depth. And so she's made a list of things that she needs to accomplish in a month to give her art a little more depth, which starts with falling in love, learning a stranger's story, and facing a fear. So that's just a couple of them, but there's a bunch. But basically she decides she's going to do this list, and Cooper says that he wants to do it with her, so they go on this adventure of doing it. And so she's trying to give her the fact that she likes him even though she has to see him with other girls. It was a really cute read. It wasn't a 5 out of 5 stars read for me, but I really quite enjoyed it. The next book that I picked up was The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks. So this is the first adult romance book I have actually ever read. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. So if you haven't seen the movie or read the book, basically we are following Ronnie. For the majority of the time we are following Ronnie, who is 17, and she is spending the summer with her dad because her mom is forcing her to, and she hasn't seen her dad in 3 years since her parents got divorced. You also get perspectives from the guy she's dating, Will, and her dad, and Marcus, which is this really creepy guy in the story that is somewhat of a sociopath, and his chapters really freaked me out. So basically Ronnie and her brother are spending the summer with her dad because they haven't really seen him. Her mom is forcing her to go even though she doesn't want to go because she doesn't want to see her dad because her dad walked out on their family. And so she goes, and then she ends up falling in love with a boy named Will, and it's just her experience of becoming friends with her dad again and not being so angry with him, and her friend Blaze and Marcus. It's a really cute story. Definitely would recommend it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because I think it was just missing that little bit of anticipation and lack of like wanting to know what happened next curiosity, and I think that might just be lacking just a little bit because I knew what was going to happen because I'd already seen the movie. And I would say that this is not a great book to movie adaptation. They took things out that I don't think that needed to be taken out, and they added things in that didn't happen, and it was just not exactly what this was, so I don't really like the movie compared to the book. So after finishing The Last Song, I picked up The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. I really hope that's how you say her last name. I am obsessed with this book. So I had seen the movie a year ago and I really liked it, and I just didn't pick it up I tried to pick it up at the time, but I really just wasn't enjoying it. And it's been a couple months since I've picked up a dystopian novel, but I quite enjoyed it. So if you haven't seen the movie or read the book, we're following our main character Ruby, who is living in a society where kids either died of this disease or they ended up with powers. So there's 5 different levels of these kids that have powers. The greens are very intelligent and are basically geniuses. Then you have your blues, who can move things with their minds, and yellows, who can create and use electricity, and then you have your reds, who can breathe and make fire, and then you have your oranges, who can control other people's minds and other things like that. So following Ruby, who is an orange but convinced the people at these camps that she was sent to. So the society that they live in, the adults got really scared of the kids because they have these powers, and so they sent them to these rehabilitation camps, but there's no way to rehabilitate them. You have to there's no way to rehabilitate them. It's just they have these powers and there's no way of getting rid of them, so they're basically just living in these camps. So Ruby is living in one of these camps, and she has convinced the people there that she isn't green and not an orange because most of the oranges were taken away and nobody knows what happened to them. So she ends up being broken out by the people called the League, and she finds out the League is not someone she thinks she can trust, so she runs away from them and ends up hanging out with 3 other kids: Liam, who's a blue, Chubbs, who's also a blue, and Zoo, who is a yellow. They're trying to find this way to East River, which is a supposed place where kids can go and live together with other kids and are helped to find like ways to contact their parents and other things like that. And I am obsessed with the story. I finished it really quickly. I think it took me 4 days to finish it, but it is almost 500 pages. It is a pretty big book. But I just ordered the other ones and they should be here Saturday, so I'm really excited. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. So that's all the books that I read in the past couple of weeks during quarantine. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked any of these books, comment down below which ones you've read or you want to read. And yeah, bye everybody.